Hello, fellow grumpy watchers. This is the Grumpy Old Men on film, and I'm Harry, and I'm blind as a bat. That's why I'm looking like this. Um, can't find my spectacles. Anyways, I want to welcome Rick to the group. Rick Gleaves. He's out of Tennessee. Um, he he is a fast texter. I, I'm a one finger guy when it comes to texting. He has joined the group. James has had to take a sabbatical for a little bit, and Rick has stepped into his place for the time being. Um, so, so that's where we're at now. So if you're wondering where James is at, uh, and like I said, James is taking a sabbatical, so it's all good, and we'll see what happens. So, anyways, our film, as you already know, if you've seen the other guys' videos, is 1922's Nosferatu. Rick has already done his. He was one of the first ones up with his video. And Bob of the North has his film up already. And so, don't think anybody else has done theirs. I'm sorry. Ian has done his. Yeah, actually, Ian had his first, then Rick, and then Bob of the North. So I'm gonna do it mine. I did one for Fight Club last month, and it would not upload. So I'm hoping this will upload. I'm not going to talk too much about the movie because the other guys have already talked about it, but I'll give you my impressions of it. A little story telling it as me and Jay like to be nostalgic. The first time I seen Nosferatu was on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the 90s when the Sci-Fi Channel first started out on cable. And it was around Thanksgiving time. They had we're doing a silent film marathon type of thing. They were playing like The Thief of Baghdad, 16,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And Nosferatu was one of the films that they were showing as well. And that was the first time I actually had seen this film. As a matter of fact, this is probably the second. No, I'm sorry. This would be the third non-comedy silent film that I've ever watched. Because most of the silent films up to that point I watched were comedies. Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd mainly were the type. Laurel and Hardy silent films were mostly the ones that I had watched at that point. And then I didn't get into the drama or horror films of silent films until I saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore in 1920. Was probably one of the first ones I watched. And that was in the 80s. And then I watched The Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney Sr. And then Nosferatu would be the third one that I've watched. And I loved it from the get-go. Really creepy. If you're not into silent movies, and we were talking about this, I was talking in a text with Rick about this the other day, is that you don't necessarily have to have gore, blood, guts, or anything like that to in a horror movie to make it scary or anything like that. You just need the effects, just like the look of this fella here, Count Orlok. The look of him and the way he acted in this movie to give you that creep factor. It made it really creepy. The way it was shot, it really kind of creeps you out. And especially in a silent movie, because there's no everything has to be pantomime out. There's no talking. and so you have to go by the looks, and everything was over exaggerated um, in these films. And this was my first film to be dealing with German expressionism. I guess that's what you would call German expressionism. And my thing here is I can't see for crap. Anyways, this is F.W. Murnau, and this was my introduction to his films. And yeah, I love every bit of this film. It was nice to watch it again. I just got we just purchased. My wife did, actually, not me. Purchased a 4K TV. We don't have a 4K player, but it's a 4K TV. Once I get a 4K player, once I hook this up to this, it would look even better. But it looked really good in HD, even though from the source material on here where they got it from, it's not the original negative print, but it's from different source materials from around the world. Max Schreck plays Count Orlok, and nobody seems to remember him in any films. Of course, unless you're into German films at the time, he played in 46 films. I had looked him up. He played in 46 to 49 films, mainly all in Germany, and I think he stayed in Germany. He never made it to the United States. So this is probably his most popular film. F.W. Murnau, of course, came to the United States afterwards, made films here. Other people from Germany, like Emil Jannings, came to the States and made films here in the States after they had their popularity. So unless you're into German films and such, that you would probably not have seen Max Schreck afterwards. I remember a few months ago we actually, I think they showed Ian. I found a picture of Max Schreck online without the Count Orlok. Looks totally different. So yeah, you can hear the goats now. It was roosters, now it's goats next door and sheep. So like I said, the other guys have talked about this film. Rick went in kind of quite detail about it, so there's no point in me rehashing it. But yeah, I watched this, like I said, on the Sci-Fi Channel, fell in love with it. My late wife, my first wife, Tracy, she fell in love with it. She's a horror fan. And you could only find it on public domain because it's a public domain film. So you could only find it on cheap. You could find it on cheap DVDs or VHS at the time. And that was Bob's problem. Bob had a cheap, well, I wouldn't say cheap. I don't know how much he paid for it, but he had one with a heavy metal band playing music behind it. And I've seen that version online, actually, where it's pretty bad. And I've seen silent movies where they had just put a 78 record on, and you can hear the needle drop, and you can hear the 78 playing behind a silent movie, and then there'd be dead space when the song's over, and then another record would come on. So, yeah, these things, unless they're put out by a decent studio or properly treated, you're not going to get good high quality. If you're going to, what they say, you get what you're paying for. So, anyways, this is the Kino edition. I've heard the Eureka edition is really well packed. It's got commentary and such like that. It would be nice to have. I don't have a region free player. They seem to have decent. Funny thing about that, maybe Ian or anybody who's in the UK can tell me the difference, because of the US and the UK releases. Sometimes I hear that the UK people in the UK are kind of jealous of the US releases because we have more special features, and then or it's vice versa, and or better artwork, and then and the US is jealous of the UK because they got like thicker books and different type of movies that were released on Blu-ray there that's not released here. like I was gonna almost ordered The Lodger from Alfred Hitchcock from BFI, even though I don't have a region free player, but I wanted it so bad. And thank God Criterion came out with it on Blu-ray, so I didn't have to do that. But I want Napoleon from BFI really bad. It's not released here on Blu-ray or DVD, as far as I know, but it's in the UK. It's been released, and I know as soon as I try to order it and buy it, and it comes here, it'll be released on Criterion or Arrow or one of those boutique labels. So, but anyways, back to this here Nosferatu. If you interested in early silent films, give it a chance. Nosferatu is a great classic film. Should watch early cinema. It's part of history. This film will be 100 years old next year. And you know, it's amazing that this prince survives, considering the history of it. You know that all princes are supposed to be destroyed, but this give silent movies a chance. Watch them. Yeah, you got to get used to them. You know, I thought the same thing too. That they were going to be boring and stale or whatever, but give them a chance, man. They're fun to watch. It's good to see history, how people dressed, and the hairstyles, the dress, you know, the way they did things, the way they talked 100 years ago. And some of that stuff still holds up today, even the comedy bits. But Nosferatu, 100 years, it's 99 years old this year, still holds up. Still holds up, man. Give it a chance. Tell me what you think about Nosferatu if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Watch the other guys' videos. They're more informed than I am. Because I can never talk. So anyways, thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.